That game is still underway, just a few minutes left. It went to extra time, and after almost 2 hours of suspense with the score stuck at 0-0, Andres Iniesta finally scored for the Spanish, for the Roja. 1-0 is the score right now. Here are pictures of fans celebrating and cheering in Madrid. A very stark contrast with the very tense crowd we saw only minutes earlier. An outburst of joy there in the Spanish capital. And joining me now on set for more on this is our sports editor, Owen Fairclough. Hi, Owen.
Lana, dramatic stuff.
What an evening.
They are on the cusp of the reason they're looking so pensive is those Spanish fans are on the cusp of their first World Cup ever. As you mentioned, it fell to Andres Iniesta, scoring in the dying seconds, really, of that second period of extra time. The Dutch players were absolutely furious with the referee. They thought he was offside, but it was given. As things stand, the Spanish are going to lift that World Cup for the very first time. It's been, I wouldn't call it beautiful football. We wondered whether we might get a classic tournament. Probably not a classic. In fact, the first half was absolutely horrible to watch at times, and it's made records for all the wrong reasons. The most number of cards ever given in a World Cup, 10 yellow cards altogether, plus a red card for John Hattinger, the Dutch player who was sent off in extra time.
So we were seeing a very tense, a lot of stress on the faces of supporters, both in the Dutch capital Amsterdam, in the Spanish capital Madrid for almost 2 hours there, and a lot of opportunities to score on both sides, and none of them were actually realized. None of them went into the net.
Absolutely. You might say the men of this match are the goalkeepers in this side. Made some absolutely brilliant saves. In fact, Iker Casillas, the Spanish keeper, twice kept the Spanish in the game.
I'm going to interrupt you right here, Owen. Spain are now officially the champions. The game has ended. Spain beat the Netherlands 1-0.
What a dream for the Spanish, and that's the culmination of 2 years, really, where they've dazzled the world with some great football. Not always during this World Cup, certainly not during this final, but it's the first time that the Spanish have ever lifted the World Cup. So we've got a new name on the trophy, and as I say, it's perhaps justified. You know, they've got some absolutely fabulous players. They've played some great football at times, and even in tonight's final, they were trying to play their own brand of creative football. The Dutch, though, just kept closing them down. In fact, most of the fouls were given against the Dutch players. That kind of tells its own story, really.
It must be, of course, a huge disappointment for the Dutch. I think it's their third time going to the final, and they've never won it.
Their third World Cup final. They played 2 back-to-back in the 1970s and haven't hit those kind of heights since then. This World Cup, they won every game. They were the only team in the tournament to win every game, so they stormed through to the final. Many people thought, obviously including the Dutch, this was their year, and they've been absolutely shattered, really, at the last hurdle.
And now, Owen, we're going to go to a very short break, but coming up right after this quick break, the World Cup Chronicles with you and our guests, our correspondents, to debrief after this high-suspense game. Spain winning 1-0 against the Netherlands. Spain becoming world champions there in South Africa.